Dream Team. Dream Team.
What up, though? It's your boy Mandela. We are live from Dream Team Home Studios, and you are now listening and watching the Producer's Dream Podcast. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, man. Doing really good. It's good to be here.
All right, so we are live today with none other than Nino Chavez. Nino, give us a little bit of a rundown on some of the projects that you like to work on or that you're working on right now to get us started.
If it's all we've been told to go after that goal, what's the point of a soul?
Right now I'm in a project called Caffeine Addicts. I do the vocals and production for it, and it's a two-piece. I have a drummer that I play with, and it's kind of an alternative pop project, and I'm really kind of experimenting, trying to find the sound I want with it, doing like a little bit of EDM, a little bit of R&B, a little bit of hip hop, all that good stuff, trying to mix it very much into a pop sound. But yeah, I've been doing that since the new year, and before that I was doing a project called the Old Adage with my sister.
We need violence in our eyes. The color fights till the death and again for someone other than ourselves.
And we did that for about probably 8 to 10 years. A good amount of time, a good amount of my like teenage years and my 20s. I did that project. And before that, I just played guitar, I played a little bit of piano, and I've always loved music. Done music all my life,
Well, yeah, before we jump into the questions, man, tell us a little bit more about the Old Adage. I personally was a huge fan of you guys.
Thank you.
And I honestly was a little sad to see that stop, but
Yeah.
at the same time, I'm super excited to hear the new music. So
Thank
tell
you.
us a little bit more about that group that you had and why it came to an end.
Yeah, so my sister and I, my sister Mimi, she's always sang all of our lives, From day one, my mom taught her to sing, did all that stuff. She's a great singer, absolutely great singer.
Excellent.
And I didn't really start playing anything until I was like about probably 12 or 13. I played guitar. My mom taught us a little bit of piano at a young age, so we always were like exposed to it, but I didn't really get into it. And so when I started playing guitar, Mimi and I realized, we're like, oh wow, look at this. They go together pretty well. And so we started playing together.
That's
and
awesome.
we started performing
So
out,
organic.
and then we started songwriting. And we were like, whoa, we can actually do something with this, like as a duo, as a partnership. And so like I learned to sing more. She learned to play more. Eventually, I started producing because I couldn't afford to pay anybody to record and produce our stuff. And so like I started very much bedroom producing at a very back in like 2012, very badly. You know what I mean? Of course, when you start, it's really
Start
bad.
somewhere, right?
Yeah. And then we just did that for a while. We did some tours. We did some pretty big shows. We played with CCR, which was like in front of 3,000 people at Motor City Casino. So we played some pretty good shows, yeah. And it was a really cool experience. I learned so much doing it. But then as you grow apart, as you grow older, things happen. And she told me, she's like, hey, I don't know if this is really the best for us for our growth anymore. I want to step away from this project. And I was really caught by surprise by it actually. And I was like, okay, I can't make you or force you to do anything.
Right.
And so, I understand that you want to do something else with your music, with your life. Totally get it. And then I just started this new project like a week or two later. And I was really sad at first, but then I got really excited about doing my own music, doing my own new project.
You didn't miss a beat, man. You didn't miss a beat. The music just continued to progress and get better and better and better. So
Thank you.
I'm personally very excited as a follower and a fan and supporter about what's coming in the future.
Thank you, man.
But yeah, let's go ahead and get into some of the questions for our fellow producers out there that want to learn from you, because I personally have learned a lot from you already.
Yeah.
So first question I have for you is, what made you want to first pursue being a producer?
So I started as an artist, of course. Like I said, my sister and I, we did our own music and just playing guitar, writing songs, that kind of stuff. And then we wanted to release our own music, And like I said before, we couldn't afford to pay anybody to do it. And so I went to Guitar Center, talked to the guy there. He gave me this, hi there, handsome. He gave me this little
Choo-choo's got some questions for you.
Yeah. He gave me a little Persona starter pack with a mic and
Yeah, just throw him down. That's how he says I like you.
he gave me a little starter pack with like the software, Studio One Artist, some headphones, a mic, and a cable, and what's it called, interface. He's like, that's all you need to start recording. I'm like, okay. I went home. It was like $200, $230, something like that. Went home, sat down. I'm like, wow, this is hard. Like,
Yeah.
it sounded really bad at first. but just literally sat down hours and hours and hours and hours on end.
So it didn't happen overnight.
No, I mean, I'm about 7 years in now. About 2012, I bought that, and I started working on stuff and tweaking stuff. And about 7 years in, and I feel like year 7, I've hit something good. You know what I mean?
To the production side of things,
Yeah,
though.
the
For
production
music,
side of
you said it's basically been your whole life, right?
Yeah. I mean, I've been doing music forever, and just production in the box on my computer. Yeah, I've been doing it about 7 years.
That's
so
awesome,
I mean, that's how I started off, just because I didn't have any other outsources. I had to do it myself, you know.
Right, definitely, man. That's awesome. So it really sounds like you invested in yourself, and it actually has started to pay off for you a ton.
Yeah, after 7 years of studying, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Started to pay off a little bit.
So which DAW do you use?
I use Studio One. I've used a few other DAWs. Studio One's kind of been like my go-to because of that initial starter pack I bought was Studio One Artist, like the beginner version of that, you know.
So you just stuck with it.
Yeah, it's the first one I bought. It's the first one I played with, and Presonus has been really good about updates and like making it more innovative and user friendly. And I've really loved where it's at now. At some points, it was kind of lacking in some places that I thought, you know, but now I really love where it's at. But I've used other DAWs like Pro Tools and Ableton and FL Studio a little bit. But I've always
you messed with Cubase a little bit too. You said
barely. You know, when I first
bit.
started, I was downloading a few different things, the trials here and there, and I've touched it, but not really like you know.
Much.
But I really like Studio One a lot. I've stuck with it because it's. I mean, it works. I know it well, and it helps my workflow because it's something I'm familiar with. You know.
Cool, man. I know that you. I was actually just talking to you about this earlier today. Mm-hmm. Even some of the engineers in the industry, knowing that's like, you know, people call it the industry standard, is Pro Tools. Yeah. And I've been hearing from a lot of the Pro Tools experts, so to speak. Mm-hmm. They're even saying they're starting to switch to Studio One. So it sounds like you chose the right one. Yeah. A lot of choices. It sounds like you might have picked the right one. But what is your favorite plugin to use?
Favorite plugin? Ooh, it depends on what I'm processing, but.
Like if you had to choose just one.
Just one.
I know it's a hard question.
The hard one, honestly. I would have to say something that I use like on everything almost is well, at least vocals. I guess vocals, my CLI, the CLI 2A, but like on a lot of things, I just like a saturation knob. I use that on a lot of different things, like on vocals, on drums, on my mix bus. Just a simple soft tube makes it. It's free plugin.
That's what I was gonna ask next. Is it something you paid for?
No, it's just a free plugin that I soft tube, and it's a really like I use it all the time.
What's the name of it for our viewers out there?
It's called saturation knob. Just that. It's just one knob, saturation. It's got a switch for like high, normal, and low.
Basic but deadly.
Super, yeah, exactly. I like the simple plugins like Little Plate, Little Ultra Boy. Those the Sound Toys ones are really simple ones. You know, I like those really simple type plugins. Because you don't spend a lot of time tweaking and looking for something, you kind of just it helps your workflow just stay right on, you know.
Awesome.
But I would say, shout out to Saturation Knob, some soft tube because I use that one all the time.
So I noticed you said Saturation Knob, but how do you feel about like some of the top plugins that are usually thrown out there, like Contact, Omnisphere? How do you feel about Omnisphere? Let's start there.
Omnisphere looks amazing. I've watched a lot of tutorials on it, and I've watched a lot of different people use it, yourself included, and I think it looks awesome. I've never personally used it myself. Okay. But I've been it's been one I wanted to get, you know? So a lot of the plugins I use at soft synths are like Serum, for sure, which is absolutely dope. I use Anna 2, which is the new one I just got, and I love it, absolutely love it. Shout out to Steven Slate. Actually, he makes it, but I know, or that company makes it, but I know that like I got it in the All Access Pass, so I know it's like associated with it. Okay. And then... What else? Contact, I use Alicia's keys.
That was what I was going to ask you. How do you feel about Contact? Because I noticed you said the saturation knob over Contact. Yeah. If you had to choose just one, you had to get rid of the other one forever. Which one would it be?
The thing is, saturation knob is like it's more of a mixing plugin versus like a production plugin or a synth or like that kind of thing. So if you had to choose just one. That's so hard.
I know. Like, this is.
If we're talking like synths,
tough questions. That's why they hired me.
If we're talking like synths and stuff, I would say my new favorite's like Anna 2.
Anna 2.
Yeah. Nice. That's my new favorite synth. I literally have been using it on everything, and I love it. I think it's great. Cool. Yeah, man. But plugins overall, I was thinking, I guess, more in my head, more mixing. Yeah. You know, more mixing plugins. But if we're talking about like instruments and production. Yeah, I would say Anna's probably one of my favorites.
I've never heard much. I haven't heard about it yet, and I've never used Anna 2 as of yet. But I'm gonna go check it out now. See, we're all learning new stuff, dropping gems on us already. Appreciate you, brother. Dream Team.